Ada, Ohio is a small town that's probably best known today for being the home of Ohio Northern University. But long before the university arrived, Ada was a growing farm community with room for industrial growth. Wanting to learn more about the settlement of the area, two of my classmates and I set out to gather more information from some of the townsfolk. I mostly concerned myself with information involving early industry and just what drew people to settle in Ada, but before we did that, we needed to do some background research. The village of Ada, originally called Johnstown, was founded in 1853 by Sanford M. Johnson. The name was later changed to Ada after it was found that a town in Columbus already had the same name. It's not known for sure where the name Ada came from. Some say it was named for the sister of an important man in the community, and others think it was named after the postmaster's daughter. Either way, Ada has remained the town's name for quite some time. On one of our class trips, we visited the Long homestead, home of one of Ada's oldest families. The Longs had lived in Ada longer than almost anyone else, and one of their descendants, Anita Dirth, still calls the town home. She told us all about the history of the homestead, how the family lived, and how the Native Americans were still living and hunting in the area back when the settlers moved in. A few weeks after we first traveled to the Long homestead as a class, my group returned to interview Anita again. This time, we were able to ask questions that were more closely related to early settlement. I began by asking her to explain some of the reasons that settlers came to Ada in the first place.
I think one of the main reasons was because there was government land available at a very reasonable cost. And this part of the state wasn't well settled as of yet. We were in the Black Swamp area. And so the ground was available to be settled and to be homesteaded.
Homesteads like these would have definitely been common in and around Ada with such plentiful land for farming, but what about the other businesses that keep towns afloat?
What sorts of businesses do you think really defined the town of Ada in the earlier days?
I know there was sawmills, and this whole area was forest. Many hardwood trees. Most any common tree, there was ash, there was elm, there was oak, there was walnut, buckeye. There was many hardwoods and the need for lumber. So the mills was very important. And of course they had grinding mills to produce meal, cornmeal and flours and those types of product. There's always need for general stores where you could purchase what you can't grow or make yourself. And so, in order to have a town, you need to have businesses and ongoing types of making product and making a living.
Anita also explained that protection from potentially hostile Native American tribes was another reason for settling an actual town, though from our discussions with her we learned that trade was a much more important one. Early farmers would have needed markets to sell surplus crops and buy supplies that they couldn't make themselves. As we talked, I got to wondering whether anyone from that period could have imagined how successful Ada has become today, what with the university, the Wilson football factory, and all the other things that draw in people from around the county.
Do you think people in those early days of Ada would have ever thought the town could be as big as it is now?
I don't think that ever entered their mind. I really don't think they expected that at all. My grandpa used to laugh and he'd say, boy, he said, one of these days we'll see Ada clear out to that first mile. Well, of course, Ohio Northern has bought beyond that first mile. They're into the second mile now. And he always thought it would be neat, to see the town grow and to move. And